You don't have to be licensed to want to learn about insurance and know what it does. It's how we make money, friends. The marketing team should know what insurance does.
Sitting down with somebody for a month until I'm actually clicking in the system and finding out how things work for myself, it's not going to build that muscle memory that I need.
Just something that gets like juices flowing and people engaged with one another.
Hey there, it's Kelly Donahue Piro, your favorite industry best friend. Well, I'm here to let you know that you've done something great for your agency by joining and listening in on our podcast or watching our YouTube channel. I just want to remind everybody that we're here to help. So if you need anything, drop a comment, go to our website, hang out with our chat, or just contact us. There's a problem in your agency, I got solutions, right? I like to think of it, you got a problem, I'll solve it. But let's get into the content today so that you can improve your awareness and knowledge of solutions that exist to the agency's core challenges.
Hello, friends. Stephen Harrington, Dakota here, along with Sarah Harris, our virtual trainer, and Gina, our emerging performance partner, or performance trainer for emerging agencies. We have such long titles, y'all. But we are talking about something all three of us are very passionate about: training, and training the smart way this time. So how do we train the smart way? Real results, real fast. I think that we have to make sure that training is part of everybody's role, right? In the agency, everybody can help. There's different ways we can do it, but the old ways don't always get us there. So the traditional shadowing, etc. I just want to bang my head into a wall if I had to sit at somebody's desk for weeks on end to get them trained. So the good news is we have some great tools and resources we're going to go over today. But I want to kick it to Sarah first, our virtual training development friend, to talk about why the old way of training insurance agents no longer works.
I think a lot of it is because people get overwhelmed. And I've actually been training for coming up on 8 years now. And I think I've seen it all in the classroom. I've seen it in the office where sometimes the thought process of training is, I'm just going to sit you down with this person and maybe you can check out some carrier webinars. And then, next week it's all hands on deck and we're going to go ahead and put you in the driver's seat. And as you're walking through the agency, sometimes maybe you catch that person taking a little nap, or here they are in the break room and they're getting some coffee. And then all of a sudden they're at a point where it's like, okay, it's time to do this and I'm overwhelmed. Maybe I napped a little bit too much. And I think what's really important about setting the expectations of training is that a lot of people don't learn the same way. Not everybody is going to learn by just sitting somewhere for 8 hours and watching somebody else click on a screen. So I think we also need to have foundational knowledge first, and then we're going to transition into immediate hands-on practice of you sit in the driver's seat, I'll have my veteran sit with you and watch you drive the conversation or what you're clicking on. We need to have structured milestones. What does training look like? How long is training going to be? And then we also need to inspect what we expect, right? We need to come back to having that person tell me, show me what you know. And one of the strategies that I used to use a lot was with teach backs, where it's like, as a teacher, I'm going to sit down and you're actually going to teach me and show me what you know. And so the goal isn't to just teach insurance, it's to build confidence and make sure that our new hires have a lot of clarity so that they can guide our clients to make the best decisions that they can.
And I think that we need to make sure that we're making that foundation solid from the beginning, right? It also needs to be fairly fast. I cannot stand, and you've already talked about this, but I will just repeat again. Somebody sitting at somebody else's desk for a month does nothing for anybody other than wear out your existing team, hold people back, and not get anything accomplished. So we need to start with some of the basics, right? And new hires don't become experts overnight, but we can, with consistency, get them trained. A lot of the agencies I work with, as we're building out a training or onboarding plan, is we look at what is all the things that people need. And one of the things I wanted so bad a couple of years ago was Insurance 101. We know they're coming to us either with no experience, some experience, tons of experience, whatever. How do we get everybody to know that we know the same thing the same way. So I'm actually extremely excited that we have Insurance 101 coming out with entry-level videos, training program designed specifically for new to insurance agents, interns, support staff, virtual assistant. It drives me insane when somebody in the office is like, but I'm not licensed. They don't know insurance. I'm like, you don't have to be licensed to want to learn about insurance and know what it does. It's how we make money, friends. The marketing team should know what insurance does. They could take Insurance 101. Our support staff should know what insurance does, Insurance 101. Even an OG agent can learn something from Insurance 101. So I think we need to be really comfortable with intro to insurance, risk management, agency roles. What is personal lines versus commercial, and just some of the basic policy types. We're not diving deep into coverage and perils and everything else, but how do we get people comfortable with what the basic concepts are? Life and health is something I didn't used to be super strong at, but we can still learn about it and what it does so we can help educate our client. And we need to know what something like a deck page is. And if your client calls and asks for a deck page or a declaration page, we have a bigger problem, right? Because clients don't normally know the insurance words, but we have to. So with our leadership launch guide, we're going to help you set up some of that for your team and know what's going on. But we have to make it impactful. We have to make sure that everybody's getting the information and that managers aren't babysitting every step of the way. We need to hold people accountable for what the win is. So how do we make it more interactive?
This is one of my favorite topics because, like you said, sitting down with somebody for a month until I'm actually clicking in the system and finding out how things work for myself, it's not going to build that muscle memory that I need. And one of the strategies that we can use to make training more hands-on is role playing. Nobody likes it, but it works. It does work. I think 100%. a lot of people get like resistance when we talk about doing role plays, and I remember it was something that we did on the captive side all of the time. We actually had our training room and we'd have all the phones connected to each other and we'd call each other on the phone. So you're actually getting that like phone experience of I'm talking to somebody. And a lot of times the students would be like, oh, I don't want to talk to so-and-so. So-and-so is so mean. But I think that's honestly, if you can handle so-and-so on the phone who's really mean to you, you can handle any client that actually calls you, right? And it really sets you up for, yes, at least I know at the end of the day, this is just my coworker being a little extra spicy. But that is setting the real basis of sometimes our clients do get spicy. And how are we going to manage our own energy and not reflect that back at them, right? And so we want to start doing some call shadowing and scenario-based practice from day one. We want to use recorded calls, have your new hires listen to themselves on the phone or have them listen to a veteran who did an absolutely fantastic job with a client on the phone. They also need to be able to read policies, right? I always say, if you can read, you can succeed. That's all we have to do. And I think on top of reading, we also need to be able to translate what that means. Can we read an HO3 policy? Do we understand the difference between open and named perils? This is something we don't want to actually say that to our client and be like, this is a named peril. Like they don't know what that means, but we need to be able to translate that. And we need to do that by practicing because practice makes perfect.
You crack me up because I love when I'm like, somebody's like, and then your deductible is, and on the dwelling coverage, and I'm like, does anybody even understand? Like, do you understand what this means? Let alone does the client understand what this means?
Let me tell you all about those other structures, or even inland marine. Let's talk about it.
Let's dive into that inland marine now. I'm like, is that a boat going across the land? I'm so confused. But we have answers for that and many others in our Insurance 101 course, right? But I think we also then need to have a structured path with milestones. We need to know, is it working? Isn't it working? How do we really get there? Does that make sense? Like, week 1, here's what we should have accomplished. Week 2, then we can benchmark, are we on track or off track? And I love as we're hiring an onboarding of having that 90 days. And if they're going faster, great. But we also need to remember sometimes too fast is not okay.
Sure.
We have to take the step back. We have to slow down just a little. Like, did we complete foundational training in week 1 with basic terminology? Do we know that they can talk about insurance or at least understand what some of it is? In week 2nd or 3rd week, can we do some role play in those job shadows? Just really checking the boxes. Because as Sarah said, if not this time, last time, and what is it? Inspect what you expect.
Inspect what you expect.
I'm going to get a new tattoo. I'm just
Please.
like, accountability is fun. Clients are a delight, not a burden. Inspect what you expect. So, Gina, how do we get the best results from our team or our new hires?
Yeah, I think it's important to blend different ways of learning together because not everybody's going to be able to learn in the same way. There's different learning styles for everybody. So having the same content available in different ways, whether it's a recorded video or a short lesson they can watch. I know we have tons of micro content in our online school that's very helpful. It's quick hit videos that they can watch and get engaged in on their own. Also, any podcasts for on-the-go inspiration and even holding live coaching sessions, just something that gets like juices flowing and people engaged with one another is very helpful. Insurance isn't like the most exciting content in the world that you didn't know. So any ways that you can blend fun in there, add some games in, do some fun competitions with departments or teams to test knowledge and see where everyone's at. And I think it's fun too if you put like a more tenured agent with a newer agent and then they can learn from one another. And it brings me into like my next point about ongoing support and learning, because we can't just train a topic once and then be like, oh, I taught them homeowners coverages 4 months ago. They're fine. Or last year we went over this. Everyone's got it down. We need to be ongoing with it to constantly keep our skills sharp and make sure that we're always refreshing what we're learning. Those mentorships, like a tenured agent and a new hire, can be so beneficial. Even talking to other departments just to get an idea of what they do and things that they're seeing. Additionally, having like a full training library with 3-minute videos. I know we have a ton of those in our podcast. It's constant learning and revamping your skills instead of just touching on it once and never coming back to it.
So we should never stop training?
Never stop, ever.
I think the best result is if we have a solid improvement system, we can get better results faster, right? We know that people will be more likely to engage or more comfortable in the role, and confidence is key in insurance. And I think it's also okay for them to be like, I'm going to look into that and get back to you if they're not comfortable answering a question. But we have to get to the point where they can be productive members of the team and not just take 90 days of sucking all of our time, effort, and energy for us to then be like, I don't think this is going to work. Let's start all over. And then the whole team was like, again. Like, we have to have the solid foundation in place so even a new person can learn. And I think one of the important things for us to remember is a lot of agents are hitting retirement age, my friend. So we're going to have to find greener team members. We're going to have to find people we can train up and build. And a solid way to do that is to have a solid training plan in place. I'm not saying that we shouldn't treasure our tenured agent. They are very much a treasure. But there was also a large period of time where insurance was not a glamorous career. And there not a whole lot of agents were made in the early 2000s. So we have this gap of, we have agents that have 30, 40 years of experience, and we have agents with, maybe 15, 20 years of experience, and then we have agents with no experience. Like, there's these huge gaps in time and space. So we have to be able to train up and train quickly. So smart agents use the tools provided. They're going to consistently learn and not be afraid to grow. And Insurance 101, again, is a great foundational place to start. We also help build customized training programs for your agency, right? That's one of my passions, is how do we get it so you can wash, rinse, repeat, hire, train, make the magic happen, and get results. So whether it's virtual, do it yourself, live and in person, whatever that may be, we have lots of tools and resources for you, but we're super excited for you to see our new Insurance 101 And if you want help customizing or training anything, give us a shout. Let's have a conversation. We're always happy to talk to you about that. So until next time, my friends, we will see you the next day.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It is so fun giving you guys tips and tricks every single, week out there. Remember, you can find us on social media for updates. You can like or comment on this podcast or video, and we're here for you. And check out our website. There's a ton of tools. We have over 1,000 blogs on our website. We have over 1,000 videos on YouTube. You can search and find answers to your top questions. But also, if you need a little bit more help, you want a best friend that's there cheerleading for you, giving you the guidance that you need, and being there on some of those tough days, let us know. We'd love to meet your agency and learn if we're a good fit. All right, signing off. Go sell insurance.